Welcome back. It is 1598. We are getting very close. I'm very excited to end this decade. But in the last one, we unfortunately had a baby that did not survive. Luke and Marie went away for a little while, and a little something happened, and now she's pregnant again. So there's that. That's not good. Let's talk about our roles for this year. We have Orella Stroud, who we do not know yet if she is a vampire or not. So we're just going to do the regular baby roles of 8 or 16, and she does survive. For toddlers, we have our Milo Larkin and then Constance Benian, no 7, 14, or 19. Oh my gosh, you guys. That's our Milo. Oh no. And then Constance, you have to live a good life. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's our only son. I mean, it's not our only son, but it's our only heir. Okay. Okay. Two children. Oh gosh. This baby died too. We're having some bad luck. Oh my gosh, that's Yasmina's son with Angelo, which means that if she doesn't have a male child with William, that there's no one to pass the title on to. Oh my gosh, things are happening, you guys. Bad things are happening. Okay, adult part 2 for Richard Hobart II and oh wait, Miguel Domino is dead. Okay, for Richard Hobart II, so he needs to get at least an 8. Whew, he just made it. Okay, this is what a time to be alive. Any birthdays? No. Okay. Well, wait a second. Wait a second. That means you're a toddler right now, which means you'd be a child at that time. Did I not get his? I don't know. I might have missed him for something. Anyway, let's hop into the game. Alrighty, so here we are in our household. We have Luke having a cool new setup right here of like some of the stuff that he's discovered, so he is enjoying that. And yeah, he is really thinking about how he is going to tell his wife that Marie is pregnant again. So he's worried about that. But it's also Milo's birthday, so he's just kind of like, should I put it off more? He is just like really the worst kind of non-confrontational. Also, we just had a baby be born, and it is none other than Aldith de Mohun. That is Yasmina and William's first baby, and she survived. And then, yeah, so he is like the worst kind of non-confrontational because he will not tell Sophronia stuff, and then it'll turn around and bite him because Marie will tell her. So he is just getting worse in his age, huh? Every year he gets a little worse. um, but you know, we love the drama, so. Moving on, he is also super burnt out all the time. I don't know why, because I haven't really been forcing him to do much, so that's kind of weird, but we're just going to accept it, I guess. And yeah, we're going to have the birthday party, so that'll be exciting for them. And so we're going to age up Milo so that we can try and plead for him. So let's age him up into a toddler. And him being covered in blood when he ages up is not a good sign for us, I don't think. But anyway, we have everyone here. For some reason, I can't call people to a meal. I don't know why that doesn't work anymore. I can take a piece of the cake, but I can't call to meal. No one will do it. Anyway, so I think that Nicholas is going to have a little talk with Luke because obviously him and Arun have talked about the whole Marie situation, and Nicholas is just going to be like, hey, you good? Like, what is going on here? And he's like, look, Luke, I always wanted you to follow your heart, but I didn't really think that you were going to go like this. And Luke's like, look, he's like talking to his dad, and it's nice because he hasn't really had a lot of opportunity since he moved out to have like a one-on-one conversation with his father. And of course, other people keep interrupting them. But yeah, he's definitely concerned because he knows that he has this like big thing that is going to really cause him a problem like right now. So Marie shows up at the birthday party, and Sophronia tries to, they're kind of, fighting back and forth, and then Marie's like, careful, careful, I'm pregnant. And Sophronia is like, what? I mean, there is a bit of a baby bump there. You can't see it super well, but Sophronia is like, hold up. Like, excuse you? What do you mean you're pregnant? Because obviously, you know, who's Marie going to be woohooing with? And, Sophronia is like, oh, are you, because Marie now has a reputation for not sleeping with her husband. So she's like, oh, like at first she doesn't think that it's Luke's, but Marie is like, no, 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 like we went to Salvadorada together and blah, blah, blah. And Sophronia didn't even know that they went on the trip together. And so she's like so mad because, this poor woman has been through so much, so much. She has been through, the loss of her children. She is about to lose her son potentially. And this guy is out here going around behind her back just because they argue a bit sometimes. And should they get divorced? Probably. But, he shouldn't be cheating on her. And it wasn't really a huge thing. People argued with their spouses and did not get divorced back then. But anyway, so she confronts Luke in front of Marie, and he has to admit the truth, once again being a big problem. And we're going to say that because none of the adults were paying attention to the kids, that little Milo fell and hit his head or something. He, there was an accident because none of the adults were paying attention and making sure the children were okay. The Grim Reaper actually doesn't come down there to do anything, so I'm thinking that we'll just let him go. I can't find his urn either. So I think we'll just let him go because I feel like that would be the final straw for Sophronia. That would be it. She finds out that her husband went on this vacation with Marie. She's pregnant. And so I think that this is the last straw for her finding out about this. So she is going to actually come over here and divorce him. She is going to say, I'm done. We've lost 4 children, and you keep doing this to me, and I've been faithful to you, and it's just not fair, and I don't have to live like this. And so they get in this big argument, and they decide to divorce. And they get the toxic ex sentiment, which I think is so fitting for the two of them, because literally every time I turn my back, they're fighting with each other. So there's that. And what I think is going to happen is that Marie is just going to take the opportunity, now that Luke is single, to just move herself and the kids into this house with Sophronia and Luke. It's actually kind of interesting because, Luke is actually really sad about this, and so is Sophronia. She's sad. She knows it's the right call, but she's sad because, obviously, she thought that they were going to be together forever. They have a child together. She has no family left. She has no one left. I mean, I guess she has her, half sister or something. I don't really remember how they're related. Cousin, maybe. But, she doesn't really have, her father passed away last year, and, she lost her children, and she just thought that, her husband would be the person to, bolster her for this, and he's not. And now Marie is coming in here acting like she owns the place, and she is just they're woohooing, they're having fun. I think that Luke is very upset. However, he's kind of thinking oh, well, it didn't have to be this way. You didn't have to ask for a divorce. I guess I will go and do whatever I want with Marie now. He's such a jerk. Oh my gosh. Why is Luke so awful? I say as if I don't control him. But yeah, he's awful. And so they're going to all, try to get used to this new normal. And Sophronia is trying to figure stuff out. And Luke actually keeps flirting with her autonomously, which is so funny to me that I think he wants her back. I don't know what's up with him. He still likes her. He still, he obviously loved her, even though they were, back and forth. But it's funny to me that he keeps autonomously flirting with her. Meanwhile, Marie notices that Luke still has these feelings and is trying to, put Sophronia down and insult her, move her up to the upper corner of the house and all that stuff. So she is definitely having a tough time there. But Marie is noticing that Luke still kind of has feelings for Sophronia, and she is not okay with that because she's planning on taking the position of wife, right? And she's planning on making her kids taken care of and all this stuff, and so she is planning on doing that. I have to put this mailbox somewhere else. Nobody can get to it. So Marie decides to intercept the mail, and in the mail is like artifacts and stuff that are sent to Luke for authentication from like official organizations or rich people or something. And so she kind of intercepts the mail and takes these artifacts from the mail person. Is like, oh, I'll handle it, don't worry about it. And so meanwhile, nobody knows that she collected them. I don't even know if Luke knows that they've arrived yet, because mail was probably not super reliable back then. I mean, it was like you got stuff mailed to you, but like who knows when. So he is just going to continue to do his work and everything. And also, I mean, we have Marie almost giving birth soon, so she is pregnant. And then we are going to come over here, and so Marie comes over here and she waits for Sophronia to leave her room, and then she comes inside and she puts all the stuff in Sophronia's closet, like all of the items that she got from the mail. And then she comes over here and she talks to Luke, and she's like, oh, like, we received word that your package came, but I don't, it's not here. I don't know where it could be. And then we see Sophronia like next to them now. So she must have come over, and she's like, oh, well, she's just like, doesn't like Marie, so she makes some backhanded comment that I can't come up with because I'm not very clever like that. But anyway, so Marie then goes into labor. So we're having the baby, and it's a girl. So it's a girl, and she survives, and we are naming her. Okay, so here's the problem. I named her something, and I don't know if I can pronounce it. It's because I want to try and use up all the names we have before 1620, and then like get a new set of names. But it's Athelina, maybe? Athelina Larkin? I don't know. We're just going to have to go with it. And this child does get the last name Larkin because, Luke is pretty confident that that's his child. They were obviously together that whole time in Salvadorada, and the baby is kind of, looks like him maybe or something. I don't know. So meanwhile, Sophronia comes back to her room and finds all the stuff here, and she's like, what the heck? And Marie is ready to spring the trap. She's like, oh, Sophronia was acting kind of weird. She was acting a little like suspicious. Maybe we should go check it out. And she brings Luke into Sophronia's room, and Sophronia realizes like immediately what's going on. And she's like, are you kidding me? Like, she's like, okay, I didn't take these things. And, Marie's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you would do this. Like, are you trying to like take money away so that you can run away with your kid whose name I forget? And Luke is so mad because he's like, this is my work, this is my dream, this is very, like, that's the most important thing in his life to him is his archaeology and stuff. And so he is very angry about the situation and everything. And so they're arguing, and he is basically telling her, like, I can't trust you now. Like, I'll make sure you're taken care of because I was your husband and we have a child together, but you need to not be in this house anymore. And she's like, you can't kick me out. Like, are you kidding me? And she's like, I'll take the baby and with me. And he's like, no, you won't. Like, she's my daughter. And, women didn't really have a ton of rights back then. So he's like, you can come visit her and anytime you want and everything, and you're still her mother, but I can't trust you not to not to be a thief in this house. And so he basically, puts her into the house that Marie was in. So he sends her away. And then meanwhile, we're actually going to go over and see Genevieve and Zechariah, who don't really have any furniture in their house. So I'm just going to quickly put some furniture in their house if I can't stop, throwing myself out of the lot. So here is some furniture. Here's some curtains. I don't know. Why is there no couch that matches the color blue of those curtains? That's so frustrating. The color matching in this game is not good at all, but it's okay. So, moving on, we're going to come over here to see the two of them, and honestly, they are in bliss. Like, they have their daughter, and they're having a good time, even though they haven't had any more children. They're not super fussed about it. Like, they're happy, and they really care about each other. And, Zechariah he made a promise to Constance to look after her sister, and he really likes Genevieve. Like, they really are compatible, and they like each other. And so he is just, like, he takes it very seriously, and he takes his role as her husband very seriously, and he wants to make her as happy as can be. Meanwhile, his father comes over and is like, making small talk, talking about the baby, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, so you haven't had another kid yet? And, Zechariah's like, well, there's still time and everything. He's not too in a hurry. And he's like, well, you really need to focus on having a son to inherit your title. You're the one in our family who inherited a title. And actually, I think it turns out that I did give them a Baron title, but anyway, that was a long time ago and I forgot, so I gave Zechariah a Viscount title, but we can say that the Baron is his secondary title. So anyway, when his father dies, obviously. But, Arun is like, you need to focus on making sure our family line is passed on, and you need to have a son, and if your wife can't provide you with one, you need to ditch her and get a better wife. And we know that Arun is erratic, right? Like, he's erratic, so he acts like out of pocket sometimes. And so obviously Zechariah is shutting him down and being like, look, she's my wife. Just because nothing's happened doesn't mean nothing is going to happen, and it doesn't matter because she's my wife, and then this is my child, and this is my loyalty is to my family. And he knows how his father is, like, he lived with his mother after they got a divorce. So he obviously knows about some of the stuff that went on, and, is privy to some of the drama. So he definitely is not willing to divorce his wife just because his father is pushing for a male heir. And we know that they're not going to have a boy, so it could escalate over time. But meanwhile, Luke wants to take Marie out to thank her for, helping him get his artifacts back, and, help him with, just being there for him, even though, he doesn't really deserve someone to be there for him right now. But, she's there for him. He's going through a divorce. He lost his son. He's having a hard time. And the two of them are, she's the one who's consoling him. She's the one, he keeps trying to, flirt and get close to Sophronia, but she's not willing to give him the time of day anymore. So of course he goes to Marie. Like, that's just logical, whether or not it's right, right? But it's logical of him to, when he doesn't have Sophronia anymore, to, turn to Marie and, try and get some companionship and some support. And of course, Marie is talking him up, telling him he did the right thing and all this stuff, even though she's the one who orchestrated this. But yeah, she's like telling him he did the right thing, and she's boosting him up and everything. And so he decides to propose to her. He's like, you know what, Marie, we should have gotten married in the first place. It should have been me and you, and it was a huge mistake not to marry you in the first place. Like, let's get married. So two toxic people are going to get married right now. So it's not going to be smooth sailing, of course. I'm not saying that they're riding off into the sunset happily ever after, because they're not. But, Marie is getting what she wanted out of him. She is getting to be the lady of the house, and she is very excited by that. So she is now no longer a duchess, but in fact a countess. So they are going to get married. I actually don't think I updated her as a countess on... yeah, I didn't. Okay, countess. And her last name is now Larkin. Did I even update that on her? I don't know, but I might have to update some last names. So they are getting married. You can't see her again, which is just, great. So we are having them get married and do their thing, and, in front of all their families. And I think that the thing for their families is that, like, their families are not super against it. Like, I think, okay, Luke's family liked Sophronia. They did. They liked her a lot. And while everyone has feelings about Marie and how she is not necessarily, the epitome of ladylikeness, she is still a member of their family. They lived together for a long time. Arun and Nicholas are together, and it's just like, you know, it feels like it's okay because she's part of the family already. And they were engaged in the first place. So I think that a lot of people and their families are just going to excuse the situation as like, oh, well, this is what was supposed to happen. Nobody is going to, pick Sophronia over Luke, or, the Venians aren't going to pick her over Marie. So it's just like, the way it is, right? That they're not going to be choosing someone else over their family members. Anyway, birthdays. I almost got distracted. Okay, so Orella Stroud became an infant. She's not a vampire. Milo Larkin died. Constance Venian, toddler. Paul Waldrick became a child. Angelo de Mohun II passed away. Aldith de Mohun and Ethelina Larkin were born and became infants. So those are our birthday situations. Very exciting. So we are just going to go around and do a couple things and get everything all set. So I hope that you enjoyed this part. Believe me, Luke and Marie are not going to have a smooth relationship either. So I think you'll enjoy what's coming. I am planning something exciting for the new century, so I'm excited about that too. We're going to be really setting that up next year. So I hope you guys are ready for it, and I'll catch you in the next one.